link of any of these hosted systems are, if your net connection is unavailable, which certainly happened in 2004 after the hurricanes, your services are unavailable. Maybe that doesn't solve that problem, but you can get a satellite card for your notebook and access your services. That's not dependent on outside power. You can go to a location that does have power and an internet connection, but if your location is out, you're out.
And with this service, but you can also route to your cell phone, so that if it's not answering the main extension, you can forward it to your cell phone. You can have follow me services.
Yeah, actually we do that, and it does work.
And I don't mean to imply that there's some huge new feature set here that your current phone system may not do. The difference is where you're able to locate your phone system, so that when your office is down, the phone system isn't down with it. And you're able to still communicate through other means, or people who are not in the immediate area can access the phone system and still use it. That's what we're driving at.
You can also, in preparation for disaster, even with the traditional AT&T phone line we have, you can do a call forward and route the AT&T number at the local switch to your cell phone. When I travel, I just call forward all the time, so that when you bail out of the office, it'll just ring through to your cell phone anyway. So most of us already have that capability today.
Right, and that works well for an individual, but if you've got a phone system with 30 extensions behind it, and you're routing it to one guy's cell phone, okay, I think that guy's got some time to take all the calls, and you're not getting your normal operations there. So, but thank you for the.
You can do that. In other words, you can. Sorry, I was eating the cookie. The thought came right away. You can actually then forward. There are systems, VoIP type systems, where you can forward multiple phone lines to multiple, let's say, cell phones. That's
the systems will have what they call find me, follow me feature, where for example, it comes in, it rings your extension, you set it, ring it 3 times. If I don't answer, then try and call my cell phone. Ring it 3 times. If I don't answer, then try the conference room or the other office, and then eventually, if I still don't answer, go to my voicemail. There are those types of
and now we have multiple stack.
Yeah, each extension could have that configured individually for what they're trying to find somebody. There's good and bad about being able to be found that easy. So use with caution. Okay. There's already a reference to online fax services. If you're not familiar with these are you sign up for one of these services. We use efax.com. There was mention of another one. You get the fax comes in. It gets converted into either PDF format, possibly a TIFF format, depending on the service. It's sent it to your email box. Usually you can also set those up. In our case, we have it go to multiple email boxes so that if it's something urgent, then somebody, whoever gets it first can handle that, and that fax is there. And then it's real easy to send it on to the person who needs it too, because it's already in your email, you just forward it away. How hard is it to get that piece of paper and get it to Joe who's in the other office or who's out in the field, this fax he needs. I got to scan it, it's a piece of paper, so you eliminate paper storage as well if you look at some of these e-fax services. And they're not that expensive. The cost of a fax line a month or less for some of these depends on the different services and whether you're just inbound or outbound too and everything. So something to be aware of as far as protecting your fax communications.
It does going to vary according to sizes of companies, but what about infrastructure costs to, say if you're in a small office, the cost per unit is going to be probably a lot higher than it is for a large company. But, what can you expect? Most of us are probably in smaller companies.
For fax, the fax.
No, just the entire infrastructure set up in your office to transfer back. Are there setups that you've got to go through in the office, or is it just as easy as going right to a PC?
For the fax service, it's about you set up a fax number and tell it where to email the fax to, in the fax service, and obviously you have to tell the world this is my fax number. I'm not sure. Some of them can probably do number reporting now because that's part of the new thing over the last year or so, being able to put numbers. But as far as the VoIP phone systems, they're all depends on all the feature sets and everything else as to what it takes to set something up. You still have to get handsets, a couple $100 each for the phone, just like phone calls have been. It's something that honestly you need to take a hard look at what your monthly bills are right now and see if you can reduce those bills a little bit to pay back on that initial investment, or if for some reason you need a new phone phone system, you should take a hard look at a VoIP one as opposed to, you know, a traditional one at this time. Now, if you've got distributed offices, that return on investment equation comes back a whole lot faster, a whole lot, because you can now eliminate entire lines and things, and as well as the increased effectiveness and efficiency of being able to have everybody in one system where you can move things around. So.
And we had somebody approach us a year or so ago, it was, you know, about $2,500 to get set up in the office.
That's, you know, that's not an outrageous fee for something like that. You know, it takes some time to get it all configured and put together and everything else. But a traditional phone system, you're 5,000 to 10,000, depending on how many extensions you need to. So it does, but you do have a per person cost that comes along with that based on actually getting a piece of hardware to the phone and getting their extension configured. Even if it only takes 20 minutes per person, it's per person. You know, somebody's got to work on that. So there are some costs. Right? I don't mean to imply necessarily that it's free or cheap, but there's some advantages to consider, and especially if you're looking at from a disaster issue and being able to keep that communication up, something to keep in mind. Okay, this is just a quick one. Your website is a communication tool, and as you look at your website, you want to make sure that you have the ability to easily make updates to that site. That you want something where you don't have to call the web developer and wait 3 days for them to put up a notice that says, you know, our office has been hit by a hurricane, please call the cell phone number, or whatever it might be, or, you know, or we're accepting donations, or whatever it might be that you need to put on there. All right, so you want to make sure, and I think it's probably a good idea if you're going to do that, you want a section where you're putting up company news on a regular basis, so your customers get used to looking for that kind of thing too, and they become comfortable with that. So a good website's going to have the ability for you to do that. All right, operations. The simple example I could come up with is how to define the difference between, you know, protecting your data and operations was. Anybody deal with invoicing at all? All right, it's a different situation to have a great up-to-date backup of your QuickBooks data and to be able to send out invoices today, you know, and to do what you need to do to work. All right, that backup on that file, you know, it's great. So someday when I get back to the office and everything's up and running, I can get back to work. But being able to continue normal operations is, oh, the monthly invoices are time to go out today, print, mail, you know, do whatever you need to do to get those invoices out. So what is out there now, as you look at what's out there, you know, also think about too, you've got your backup. If your servers, you know, had a bunch of water dumped on it because a roof leak or fire or whatever it might be, there's a process of getting a new piece of equipment, getting it configured, and then restoring data. That is not a 5-minute process. And just like, you know, AT&T couldn't get that phone line moved in a timely manner because they were kind of busy, the same thing happens to computer support people and other types of support people. Somebody's first in line, and somebody's at the end of the line, and hopefully you're closer to the front of the line to get them started on that process. So this is about protecting that ability to keep working even if you're out of the